Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to another edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 review series. And today I am going to be talking about Episode 6, Deus Ex Latrina, which I've just finished watching. And this episode was kind of a very mixed bag, in my opinion. There was some good stuff about this episode, but there was also some stuff that I didn't really care much for. And there was one little thing which happened. I didn't care about it, but at the same time, it was just really weird and awkward. But overall, I would say this episode was not too bad, but it wasn't the greatest. Certainly not as good as the 100th episode, which was episode 3. Just didn't enjoy this episode as much as I hoped I would, but there was some bits about it that I did like, which I'm going to get into right now. Now, if you remember, back at the end of season 6, we saw another Wave Rider appear out of nowhere and destroy the Legends Wave Rider and then disappeared. Well, we kind of got the answer to that. The rogue Wave Rider that destroyed the Legends Wave Rider was actually Bishop. So, anyone who remembers, a couple of episodes back, Bishop corrupted Gideon's mainframe system and she was basically reprogrammed and all of her default settings was reset back to the beginning. So she was basically a cold, emotionless AI. And in some respects in this episode, Gideon reminded me of Hal from Space Odyssey 2001, where she was just very cold. I wouldn't necessarily say evil, just more like robotic, like very fluid in her way of speaking and the way she instructed Bishop to do certain things. I mean, in this episode, she actually got rid of an Ava clone, just kicked her out, literally just kicked her out of the Wave Rider and she was sucked out. So that was kind of a dark moment. And we also learned in this episode the legends have traveled back to the past in 1986 in Shiranobi on the day of the meltdown, and we saw also in this episode we saw Gwyn Davis, who's played once again by Matt Ryan, superb as always, and they in a way changed the timeline because Davis more or less has warned everyone about a potential war slash meltdown that's going to occur. And also in this episode, Nate has finally decided that he wants to be with the original Zari and he wants to move in with her inside the totem. I'm going to miss Nate. If this is setting up for his departure, that would mean that Sarah Lance is the sole original member of the Legends because Nate, he's been in the show since season 2. So if this is a setup for him to leave, then that would mean there would be no more original members of the Legends. So we'll just have to see about that. We also saw in this episode Bishop and Ava have become Time Masters and they travel to 1925 and, as we learned, destroyed the Wave Riders ship. So that was how we got to season 6 and 7. So I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was really cool. They wrapped that up. So I enjoyed that part of the episode. So we also saw that Gideon, or the corrupted Gideon, if you will, she has created a bishop clone slash robot and wants him to basically continue chasing the legends, and the real bishop is basically deemed useless. So there was some interesting moments, nothing to really get your teeth into. The only thing I probably did enjoy the most about this episode is what happened at the end of season 6 and why that's happened. So I'm glad that part of the story has been resolved. And we also saw Astra and Spooner help Sarah and Ava express their frustrations, which led to Ava chopping up wood in the forest with an axe. So that was kind of cool. And as I mentioned, Davis broadcasted an evacuation warning which alerts Bishop's Gideon, and we see the legends have repaired their time machine and prepare to escape, while Bishop escapes his wave rider via a toilet seat. And as the legends are about to disappear, Bishop is sucked in with them and ends up more or less on the time travel journey with them. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the legends and Bishop, for that matter, are going to end up. So that's pretty much how episode 6 ended. As I said, this episode was a very mixed bag. There was some good bits that I liked. There was some other bits that I didn't care for. Now, I did mention that there was a moment that was a little bit weird. Yeah, there were that moments was Gary and the original Gideon, who's now a human. They engaged in certain activity, and I just found that really, really weird. I wouldn't really say it was uncomfortable. It was just pointless. I just thought, why do we need a scene like this? I'm just so glad they didn't show it. It is a CW show after all, so not really going to go the whole 9 yards, but just didn't care for that moment with Gary and Gideon. Good stuff that I enjoyed. Um, Learning about how the original Wave Rider ship got destroyed, which turned out to be Bishop, and the Nathan Zari stuff. It was okay. Can't really get into their relationship that much. Got Dr. Gwyn Davis. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like the idea of a time traveling scientist with the legends. Kind of sort of fills that void with Stein being gone, although he'll never be Stein. Not a chance in hell, but it's kind of nice we've got someone like that. So I'm hoping they'll keep him around for a few more episodes. But by and large, this episode was okay, not the greatest, but it was kind of nice to see some little story arcs kind of get a little resolution. So it will be very interesting to see what happens in episode 7. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on episode 6? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts on Bishop reprogramming Gideon, and she was more or less like a stoic version of Hal from Space Odyssey 2001? Did you enjoy that aspect? And also, what about Dr. Davis warning everyone about a potential meltdown? Will this have some adverse effects on the timeline? And also, at the end of the episode, where do you think the Legends and Bishop, for that matter, are going to end up? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 review series, where I am going to be talking about Episode 7, which I'm hoping is going to be a little bit better than this one. So, especially with the way this episode ended, it's kind of piqued my interest in terms of where Episode 7 will end up and what it's going to be like. So, until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, thanks for listening.